you know what's cool about Breaking Bad is like, you know, I mean, Bryan had Malcolm in the Middle,
Right.
and like, you know, everybody was kind of successful, probably in their own right, but there was no superstar.
Right.
You know, you guys all became superstars together, which is
Right.
I think probably a kind of a rare, pretty cool experience where
it was great, and Bryan was such a spokesperson and leader. He was like the father of our show. You know, he was such a good guy.
Yeah.
To like in 6 years, man, he never showed up late to the set. He was always the first guy on the set. So that set the tone for everybody else.
Yeah. It's like sports, man. It's like the captain of the team.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, all right, that motherfucker's. I'm gonna beat his ass.
Can you show me?
I'm gonna sleep in.
I remember them saying that about Modern Family.
Oh, really?
Where they were like, Ed O'Neill.
Oh, no,
Ed O'Neill wasn't ever going to be late, so we weren't ever going to be late.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I didn't know that. That's And it really set the tone. He would like write us little emails every like beginning of a new season, like that was a great season last year, but let's all see if we can like reach down and do a little better this year. Like, yes, Bryan, I'll do it for you. You're my man.
Do you think Breaking Bad is done?
Yes.
No more spin-offs, no more movies, no nothing?
Nothing.
Is that your opinion, or you know that? Like,
that's my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something. If the phone rings and it's Vince Gilligan, everyone's probably in. You think?
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. It's not one of those things like yeah. Where it's like, no, I'm done with that. But you think he's?
I think he smartly ended it, and it's part of the. I think it's part of the appeal of that show is that this is it. It ended, and this is what it is. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. I mean, they're already doing the prequel kind of thing with the movie and you know Better Call Saul and stuff. I don't think there's any.
So
I could be
here's
wrong.
what I always thought. I actually think there's two people I would watch a spinoff for.
Yeah.
I would watch your whole career.
Yeah.
And I also thought a show called No Half Measures with Mike Ehrmantraut.
Yeah.
He was I
so
would watch
good.
the shit out of those. So Vince, if you're when
Yeah,
we're done with Law and Order, you want to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I just think
I might be. I'm not even sure I can say that. I can say it's fucking. I'm going to be writing the oral history of Breaking Bad.
No shit.
Just signed a deal to do that. Yeah.
That's fucking
I get
awesome.
to talk to all my castmates. And,
So is that like a podcast?
It'll be a book.
Book.
Yeah.
Cool. Congratulations. Dude, that's got to be
is
really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. So I just talked to Vince about it to make sure he was he'd be involved, and he said yeah. And
Did you come up with this idea?
no, they came to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
I forgot whatever the
network?
publisher is. No, the
Publisher. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
I-
And then you clear
I
it with
should
him,
know.
kinda.
I should know. You know those guys, Harper Collins or some shit. I don't know.
Penguin or some shit.
Yeah, I'm like, how much? Yeah, fuck yeah, I'll write that. But
That's going to be a smash,
Yeah,
brother.
it's gonna
Especially
be
if
nice.
everyone's involved.
yeah,
Like,
just telling stories. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun book.
is that going to be like do they come with everything, or you have your input on like
I'll have my input
this
on the
chapter,
stuff.
that chapter?
Yeah. I'll have
Cool.
we have obviously a writer guy, but yeah, we've already talked about how we're going to shape it and what was important, what was not. I'm just trying to get a lot of the stories that people that haven't heard about, you know, just from
Oh
the
my
actors
God.
and all the different people. And,
Yeah.
Because you know, it really is. We were talking about this earlier about binging and Netflix. I mean, it was a seminal show that took TV into that sphere, the streaming sphere. You know what I'm saying?
And that it was the anti-heroes,
Right.
it's the Sopranos and Breaking Bad.
Right.
And like there's probably like 5 shows I think that were like
The Shield.
Yeah, The Shield was a great one. Like that really, I think, at least from a fan point of view, turned television like. I feel like it used to be movies and then television
Right,
on the side,
right.
and now it's like just as important, if not more, because
Right.
of shows like that.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about that, and I always like to bring up the fact that I think technology had something to do with it because people started getting TVs in their homes that
were movie screens.
needed cinema level TV.
Yeah.
You can't be watching, Three's Company on it's
Right.
fine when you watch it on that, but when you're watching as big as that, and you got
Yeah.
the sound system, you want a cinema level.
That's a great point. I never thought of that.
Yeah, and I think
mean,
that
you
kind of helped bring all those shows in that
Yep.
in that
It's like
direction.
you brought movies into the home, and
Right.
then you brought television to the movies
Right.
level of entertainment.
Yeah.
And it was. I mean, it's obviously so good, but
Yeah.
to me, it's I feel like there's a lot of debate about other shows, great shows, but to me, it's like
There's
I've
not
really
a-
never heard anybody.
There's not a debate.
There's
no?
not. a
There's no debate. No, I meant debate like The Sopranos is great, but like
Oh, I
do
love
you
The
like
Sopranos.
do you like the ending, or
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
Lost was so good, but it never tied up loose ends. Like
Yeah.
all these things that you can kind of, if you're nitpicking, pick
Right.
apart a show.
Right.
I don't think there's that with Breaking. Like
Yeah, I don't think there
it
is
started
either.
good. It ended perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect amount of time. The perfect story. It's just.
And Hank was insane.
Oh yeah,
he was so good in that show. You know, the guy,
yeah, he was the best, dude.
Yeah,
He's
Norris,
handsome.
He was fucking one of the best looking guys on TV.
I believe you said that your favorite part for you was the toilet scene, figuring out everything. Does that make sense? Oh.
Nope.
Right.
Excuse me. Get out here, each other.
There you go.
You're like, you can't wear a V-neck. I'm like, fuck you. I'll wear a V-neck. I was valedictorian. I was valedictorian.
I hope that principal's watching right now.
Right there. Well, that was one of my favorite scenes. I think personally, my favorite scene was in season 3. Right before I almost get my head whacked with the cartel guys that came with the axe. Mm-hmm. But before that, and it's a little remembered scene, but I sit on my bed with my wife Betsy, and I have this whole. I would read it and I couldn't like practice it without kind of tearing up, you know. And they're like, "You can't cry." I'm like, "All right, I'm trying not to." But it was him saying, "You know, honey, the universe is trying to tell me something. I just don't think I'm meant to be a cop." And for that guy, you know, to have reached that moment, and then he goes in and they take his badge away because this is after he beat up Jesse Pinkman.
Yep. And
they take his badge away, and he's like, you know what, I'm okay with that. And then you know, the cartel guys, 1 minute. It's called 1 minute, and that's they gave, and it was 60 seconds from the call. They're like, you know, somebody's coming, right. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, and then gets that big axe. I mean, that's a great scene.
It's a great, and I remember after, like, why didn't he have his gun?
Yeah.
Why didn't he have his gun?
Because they took it.
Yes.
They took it in the
Yes.
he had to turn in his gun and his badge.
But I mean, I'm forgetting your wife's name.
Betsy Brandt, Marie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when Marie's talking to the sergeant and being like, why doesn't he have his gun?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I took him.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah.
When you were talking about the book, I was thinking about how you guys have, like, your cast feels like a family. Yeah. And I think that's partly because you shot like on location and kind of had to be around each other so much.
Yeah.
Do you prefer one versus the other, like on location versus on set?
Yeah, it's always nice. I just did a movie called The Parenting, it just came out. And we were all in Concord, Massachusetts.
Fuck yeah.
And we were all in this small town, and like I lived with Lisa Kudrow and Parker Posey in the same house.
No.
And we all just kind of hung out, you know, and it was such a fun shoot, and I think it shows in the movie that we all just hung out. You know, Edie Falco was in it, and she'd come over. We'd have game night, we'd have movie night. You know,
Wait, so you, Lisa Kudrow, and Parker Posey, would just sleep in the same house, and like wake up and make
categories
breakfast
and shit.
Yeah,
like, let's play Taboo and watch a movie.
Yeah, that's right. Sit on the
great.
porch because I wouldn't smoke, but they'd be smoking, and we'd just go out. Hey, what's going on? And
Dude, that's awesome.
That was
awesome.
And not only that, we would just improv for the fun of it, and so we would just start riffing on shit, you know. And Lisa Kudrow's a genius, and Parker Posey's a genius, particularly in comedy and particularly in improv. And it was some of the most fun times. And Edie Falco, and it was great.